Have you ever thought of starting your own business? Making your life your own? Now's the time. To get started. Welcome back to Starting a Business Simplified. I'm your host, Susie Wraines, and I'm continuing the series of the Universal Laws and Business, Manifesting Success in 2025. We are now on the Universal Law of Correspondence. So the Universal Law of Correspondence, in this episode, I'm going to go over what the law is. I'm going to give you some definitions with sources of where the definitions came from. And then we're also going to talk about how this law shows up in nature and how this law works in business. The whole point of these episodes in the series is to identify how we can work with the universal laws in our business. So let's dive into the episode. I'm going to read the definitions and it'll give you an idea of the law of correspondence. So the law of correspondence, it teaches that there are patterns throughout the universe, from the smallest elements to the largest systems. And what this means is the outer world is a reflection of the inner world. So what happens inside us manifests outside of us. Last time we talked about the law of attraction, and a lot of this is going to identify that and kind of give you what's happening. So when you talk about the law of correspondence and your outside world is reflecting what's happening inside, that kind of is similar to the law of attraction, where like attracts like. So if you're thinking about a negative thing, it's going to draw negativity to you. So this is a similar way, but this is actually a reflection, a mirror, and it's a way that you can identify internally where you need to shift. So let me give you some definitions. I'm going to read the definitions again for you so that I get them accurate. The law of correspondence asserts that there is always harmony, agreement, and correspondence between the planes of existence, the spiritual, mental, and physical. What happens on one plane reflects on all others. And this source is The Creative Process in the Individual by Thomas Troward. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Troward. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. The next definition is what happens within you is reflected in what happens around you. The universe responds to the vibrational energy you project from your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions. Source, Deepak Chopra, The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. This definition, it references the law of vibration. So again, you're going to see all the laws intertwine and they work together. The last definition, the law of correspondence, tells us that the outer world is a mirror of our inner world. To change the external results, you must first change the thoughts and beliefs that shape your internal reality. Source is Bob Proctor, You Were Born Rich. That is something that applies to all of the laws. So if you're thinking, you've heard this before, you've heard it in the law of vibration, you've heard it in the law of attraction, you've heard it in the law of transmutation of energy, it is true. This is a truth. What's going on inside of us, thoughts, emotions, these patterns that are repeated create our reality. It creates what's happening outside, what is outside of our world. So I'm going to look at how this happens, the law of correspondence in nature. So in nature, everything reflects everything else. So it's talking about how there are patterns, and an example would be the structure of a leaf or the branching of trees. So if you look at a leaf, you can see the veins or the lines on a leaf that branch out from a center. And the same goes for the tree. So the tree grows and it has branches that go out. So leaves, they mimic what's happening with the tree. It's repeated patterns reflected in a larger system. Similarly, our body. So think about how we mimic a tree. We have veins and arteries in our body. And if you look at those, if you look at a picture from like a doctor's office where it shows all of your veins and it shows all your arteries, those are like the veins and arteries that are in a leaf or in a tree for tree branches. So it all reflects, everything is reflecting what's going on inside, on the outside. The water cycle. So this one demonstrates how water is continuously moving. And again, this is transmutation of energy as well. It circulates and moves from earth to sky, reflecting patterns of circulation and renewal. So your actions and thoughts, the energy circulating in your business, in your life, is going to influence the outcomes and opportunities. What's circulating in you, just like the water's circulating from earth to sky, what's circulating in you, just like your blood is flowing through your veins, is going to influence what's happening outside. I want to talk about this in business. And I took some notes on this because it crosses over into the law of vibration, the law of transmutation of energy, the law of attraction. It's bringing all of these together. So the law of correspondence is that internal is reflected in the outside. The law of vibration is what are you vibrating at? And that's going to, again, bring to your outside what you're doing inside. What is your internal vibration? Transmutation of energy, what you're thinking and shifting is going to change the outside, your outside reality. And in business, this is where your mindset and business results. So your internal mindset, if your internal mindset is of opportunity and growth and abundance, guess what your business is going to do? It's going to have abundance and growth and be successful. You're going to be transmuting that energy into what it is that you want it to be. Again, that's the law of correspondence. If you are sitting in scarcity and lack, so you're sitting thinking, I don't know how I'm going to make money. My business is not going to take off. Nobody's going to pay me. Nobody wants what I have. All of those thoughts, they're a lower vibration, law of vibration. You can transmute them into the I'm successful and abundant. But right now, if you don't have clients and you're not getting business, look inside. What are you doing inside? Are you thinking you're not going to get clients? Because if that's your thought and that's your belief, guess what's going to happen? Not going to get any clients. Leadership. I want to talk about leadership because as a business owner, if you're by yourself, you're the leader of you. You are the leader of you. You are still a leader, even if you don't have a team. How are you leading yourself? How are you showing up to encourage yourself, to motivate yourself? I had to do this when I got started. Now I work with my husband and he helps me. And so we do it together. But again, I have to sit down. So before I recorded this episode, what energy do I want to come to this episode with? How is it that I'm going to share with you what's going on? Being the leader, I'm the host of this podcast. That's a big deal. Stepping into that identity and owning that internally. This podcast is successful. People are being helped. The listeners are gaining knowledge and understanding and inspiration and all the things. I'm going to come into it with that perspective. And then guess what? More listeners are going to show up. Those of you that are listening now, you're going to be inspired. You're going to get knowledge. You're going to get all the things because that's what I'm cultivating internally. I'm here to teach you something you may not know, to make you aware of something you may not be aware of, to inspire you in a way to take inspired action, to give you examples of how it works in the world and how to do a business. That is my internal focus that I want for this podcast. So guess what? That's what's going to happen. Marketing and client attraction. We're going to go to the law of attraction, which is one that we did recently. When you internally focus on your client, the quality of how you work with them, making a difference in their life, knowing that you can help them, stepping into the identity that I am here for you and I'm here to take care of you and your life is going to be amazing and I'm going to help you get there. That internally is going to bring you clients who are seeking that and are willing to step into their own identity, reach out for help, ask for your help in whatever it is that you offer and want to work with you. On the flip side, if you come at it as, I just want to make money and I just want to get clients to make money and it's just to grow and make millions of dollars and you're not thinking about the client, you don't even care how you get there. And that's the focus. And that's internally what you're thinking is I just need to generate money. Those are the kind of clients that you're going to get. You're going to get the ones that are like, I just want to pay you and I just want you to fix it for me. We can't do anything for anybody. As a coach, I'm a coach. I cannot make somebody have a successful business. I can give them directions. I can give them checklists. I can give them inspiration. I can do trauma coaching with them to remove limiting beliefs. I can do all the things that I'm capable of doing in my scope of work and be encouraging and uplifting and help them raise their vibration. They have to take the action. They can't pay me for me to do the work for them. It's impossible. I ask my clients this all the time. They're like, man, if I just had money, I could just pay somebody and then they could start my business. Yes and no. I'm going to clarify that. If you had $1 million and you want to start a business, you have to know what is it that you want to sell? What is your business? You have to have an answer to that. So you already need to know that. Who are you selling it to? You need to know that. And how are you servicing that? What is the delivery? You as the business owner need to have those decisions. If you haven't listened to it, I have a whole episode on the CEO versus employee mindset. Look in the podcast. It's in there, CEO versus employee mindset. This is where when you're a CEO, which is you're the business owner, you need to make decisions and then hand it off to somebody to do the work. But you have to know what decisions to make, what directions to give. So if you want to hire a marketing person, the marketing person is going to come to you and say, what are you marketing? Who are you marketing to? What is your message? What are you selling? What is the tone that you would like to take? What is your brand? How do you want to look? How do you want to feel? They're asking those questions. You need to have the answers. So me as the business foundations coach, what I do is I help clients figure out those answers. So then you can go hire somebody if you want to. The reason I tell you all of this is that internally you have to own, I'm a business owner. I'm making decisions and this is what I want to happen in reality. When you step into that identity and that internal focus, what do I want for my clients? How do I want them to receive my services? How is this all going to work? You create that in your reality. If you shrink back and you say, I don't want to do it. I don't want to make the decisions. I want somebody else to do it for me. That's what you're going to get on the outside. Your external business is going to be confused. It's not going to have a direction. You're not going to know what's happening. It's going to be confusing. You're going to feel overwhelmed. You have to take the driver's seat internally. Who are you being as a business owner? Are you stepping into the CEO mindset where you're making the decisions and taking the action? Because once you take the action, you can then hire somebody to hand that off to. Then they become an employee and you're making the decision and you're hiring somebody and you're making a decision and you're hiring somebody. And that's how business works. Externally, once you get internally, I'm going to step into the identity of a business owner and a CEO. Externally, you will create a business and then you'll need to hire people because we can only do so much as one person. So my example for this is when I started my podcast. I started my podcast by myself. It was just me. And I would record an episode and I would edit it and I would do all the things and I would publish it and I would promote it all of it. My CEO mindset, I stepped into the identity that I'm a successful podcast host. In my mind, I had a team. In my mind, my thoughts. I have a team that does all my editing and all my marketing and all of the things. And I would step into the host, record the episode, and be excited. And I'm the host of a successful podcast. And then boom, once I was done recording, I got into the employee's mindset, and I'm like, I'm an employee that produces, edits, and makes sure that this podcast is the best it can possibly be to be published. And I stepped into that identity and I owned that. And I said, I'm going to edit this to the best of my ability. It's going to be the best episode that I can edit, and I'm going to publish it. And then I stepped into a marketing person and I said, all right, now I'm going to assume the identity of this marketing person, and I'm going to start doing the same thing. I'm going to do the best I can with what I have, but I'm going to be that person that's going to market this, and it's going to be amazing. We have to step into the identity internally and be the person that we want to see on the outside, the results we want to see on the outside. If you're confused, go watch somebody do what it is that you want to do. Go see an example. How are they being? How are they showing up? Because internally, they have to be that first. Then externally, they're going to show up in the world that way, and they're going to get results that way. Law of attraction, they're going to attract the things they want to attract. Law of vibration, they're going to raise their vibration. The law of transmutation of energy, when they have a bad day, they're going to transmute that energy into a good day, and they're going to feel good about it. All of these laws work together. So the takeaway from this episode is do an audit. Look at, for those of you that already have a business, look at your business and go, what is happening in my business that I don't like? I'm not getting as many clients as I would like. Go inside. What's happening inside? What's your belief around clients? If things aren't happening as fast as you want them to, go inside and ask yourself, what are my beliefs around things not moving fast? Whatever it is that's not working in your business, I want you to go inside and ask yourself, what do I believe about that situation? What's going on internally? And then transmute that energy. Law of transmutation of energy. Go back and listen to it if you haven't heard it, but transmute that energy into what you want it to be. And that will correspond, and you're going to see a shift. Externally, things are going to shift for you. If you don't have a business yet, this is a beautiful example of what do you want to create? Internally, be that person. When I started my podcast, I wanted to have a podcast. I wanted it to be successful. I wanted to reach business owners and help them with what I have. Internally, I owned that. I believed that I could help the listeners start their business, learn more about business, understand it, have examples, be inspired, all the things. I internally owned that, and then I hit record. And that's what I'm creating on the outside. So do an audit, figure out where are you? Where do you want to be? What do you want to see on the outside? What do you want to change on the outside? Now go inside and ask yourself, what do I believe? How am I showing up? Am I showing up in the world in the energy that I need to be for that to show up on the outside? This is a tough place to be. I'm going to tell you, it's not easy to look inside and go, oh, that's what I believe. No wonder. We have to let go. I'm currently reading a book by David Hawkins, Letting Go. I'm just going to tell you that. Amazing book. It's a great one if you want to read it. Letting go. Because a lot of it is we recognize the belief and we go, oh, I don't want to believe that anymore. How do I transmute that? You got to let go of the old and bring in the new. Transmute that energy. I'm not going to believe that anymore. What do I want to believe? Now I'm going to reprogram, and I'm going to believe that. And I'm going to think about that. And I'm going to channel the energy of that new belief to generate what you want on the outside. So I know it was a lot today. Universal Law of Correspondence. What's internal is showing up outside. It's just your big mirror of the world. So go inside. What do you believe? What do you feel? Who are you being? What is your identity? How are you identifying? Are you a CEO or are you an employee? When are you a CEO and an employee? Because you got to wear different hats sometimes. How do you step in and go between the two? You have to be able to do both when you first get started. So that way, okay, I'm working right now as an employee, but guess what? I got to hop into my CEO mindset and start thinking like a CEO and making decisions and moving forward with things in that direction. So it's a lot, but there's a lot of episodes you can go back and listen to. CEO versus employee mindset, all the Universal Law episodes that have been published so far. I referenced those. Those are something to listen to if you haven't already. And thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being here on my podcast, listening to me and being inspired and being a part of the community. I love all of my listeners. You're supporting me. You're encouraging me to keep stepping into who it is that I want to be. And hopefully this is really helping to impact you in a way that you want to do the same for your people, for who it is that you're speaking to and who it is that you're serving in your business. I always want to be an example for you and show you the good, the bad, and the ugly of being a business owner and how it works. And so hopefully this is encouraging you and helping you to step into that every single day. As always, keep it simple.